All right, we got some music this morning. Morning. Cut that. We'll do that. We'll cut that out in post-production. Haha. We got music going here this morning. I did it again. Oh my god. We'll pretend it's morning. Today on the show, we talk about what I did for a full week of living alone. I guess I can't even tell what time of day it is. All right, I'm pulling up my comments. I'm streaming live right now on Facebook and YouTube. I'm actually going to kill this music because I'm not feeling it. It's obviously distracting me. Bye, music. But anyway, hi, welcome. My name's Lynn. If it's your first time watching, hello, welcome. I can't seem to get my ear things to stay in today so I can monitor my sound. Hi. If you're watching, please do say hi. And, you can watch in secret if you want to as well. I'll be pulling comments up on the screen. I'm hoping to have a interactive show today. You guys can see I'm in rough shape apparently today. Hi Amy, thanks for saying hi. What I'm hoping to have a conversation about is kind of based on my experience for the past week. Bert's been out of town at an out-of-town bachelor party, and I've had the whole house to myself. And I talked to somebody recently about this, they had the house to themselves for the first time in a very long time, and they were like, this is what I did right away. And so as soon as Bert left, and I had the house to myself, I had that same feeling like, oh, I could do what I want to do now. So I don't know, maybe it's just kind of you don't really think about it until the opportunity is there. But let's chat about it today, and just see, kind of like what do you guys do when you've got the place to yourself, even if it's just for a few hours? Sometimes if you're, a parent and you live with a family with kids and a spouse and whatever else going on, what if you just had a few hours in the house completely to yourself and no expectations that you needed to do chores? Let's take that out of the picture too. Or, if that is the first thing, if that is the first thing you think of, that's totally fine too. I see Amy's comment actually. Before I could even finish the sentence, I think Amy was typing that. But to be fair, that was part of what I did too, was I wanted to clean my house. I don't know why it's so weird when other people are home or sharing your space. Why can't we just, I don't know, do that deep clean together? How, I don't know. Bert and I do. We get in those modes, but it's not the, first thing that I think of when I'm coming home on a regular, Wednesday night. Hey, babe, let's clean the house. Let's deep clean. Let's do a deep clean on the oven tonight. What do you say? All right, I'm pulling up my comments here so that I can share them on the screen with me. Yeah, feel free if you've already got things coming to mind, what you would do. We'll use them as conversation continuers today. And then I will jump in to what I actually did. Alrighty. Here they are. And there, and there. Clickety, click, click, click. Oh, Kelly is actually, speak of the topic here, at home alone for a quick moment, and I'm getting everything ready for Nolan to start school tomorrow. So she's home alone, but she's taking care of someone else and listening to me. Thanks, Kelly. I feel like, Kelly, I'm going to tell everybody, but I've been thinking about, I need to catch up with just you. And I'm hopefully sometime this week we'll make some time to actually just talk to each other, a real nice, good catch up. Okay, so Amy was saying she, as soon as she has time alone, she's going to clean her house. It's so nice for her. And hi, Kim. Thanks for saying hi. Oh, no. Elliot's asking, did I watch the new Game of Thrones by myself like a boss? I did not, and it's not because I wanted to wait for Bert, but that's what I'm going to tell him. And he's on a flight right now, so I don't think he's going to go back and watch this episode, so I'll be kind of careful what I say, but I might also take some for fun jabs at him. But I did not. I was working so hard last night to try and finish the project that I started on Friday, which is what I'll tell you guys about today. And hello, Marcus. Okay, I think I got my Kim saying my hair looks super long today. Thank you. I have been keeping it long. I don't know how I normally wear it on Mondays, but yeah, I like it long. It's fun. And I put some extra product in it this morning after I washed it, so maybe that's why it's looking so glamorous. But thank you, Kim. Okay, so guys, I will tell you. Let me go first, okay? Well, I guess Amy kind of went first. She would clean her house alone. But Amy, if you get other ideas that come into mind, so after your house is clean, what would you do next? So when Bert left, okay, this was Wednesday. Wow, it was so long ago. No, Tuesday. He left last Tuesday. Okay, so I was like, I had projects. The first thing that I did was take out a pad of paper and write down all the things I wanted to do while he was gone, because I felt like if I just started going, I would be like distracted by the sight of the next thing that I was like, oh, but I want to do that too. So I was like, I'm going to write them all down because I'm a list maker. Okay. I wrote down, oh, I wish I had the list in front of me because it'd be fun. I got actually through more than I thought I would on the list. I of course, making the list, I was like, I could get this all done. I have a whole week. But obviously I have to go to work every day, and I've got other things going on. I was really excited, though, to try and get out and hang out with people. So that was something on the list. Okay. You guys remember this? The beam project in the living room, where they had to replace or put in a beam to hold our second floor up, because when we bought the house, the people had created an open floor plan without making it structurally sound. So we had a beam that goes across the ceiling and then a post that's basically in the middle of the living room. And we didn't realize when we had the work done that they weren't going to finish the beam, like put drywall around it and make it look like a regular wall and everything. Well, the post that they put in also kind of jut out from our already uneven and not, what's the square, I guess, house, like it juts out from the wall and everything. It is not, it's an old house. I emphasize old because it's like 112 years old, something like that. Maybe even more. They didn't finish that. So this was last summer this project was done. We did the drywall. I was really proud of that. But the beams themselves on the ends and the one in the middle of the room are unfinished. And I really wanted to finish them so that they look nice. We had wrapped with my dad and Bert, the one in the middle with wood, was nice finished, not finished, but like a very nice smooth pine. It looked fine. I didn't know if I was going to paint it or stain it, whatever. The idea, I had a rough idea. It was going to kind of be like, real simple, like 4 sides, and then, like maybe a little accent at the top and the bottom. Okay, but guys, when I'm alone, I've got more time to think about it. And so I found this kind of more of like craftsman style that I'm like, oh, I really like that finish, because it's like simple, but also not boring. And well, I had to come up with a plan and the measurements. And while it looks simple, it's actually really tough when you don't have a square house and and things are jutting out at weird angles and everything. So the amount of time that I had to sit there and plan and measure and draw and remind myself what my train of thought was took forever. So I got it, went to the store, picked up all the pieces that I needed, brought it back, and I started putting it together. And then, and I'm a big fan of the Ryobi. I don't know how to say that brand, but you get it at Home Depot. It's the one with the green and black. And I I really highly recommend this if you're doing any finishing work, like, baseboards or like what I'm doing, like putting the pieces of wood on your wall. It's the nail gun, and it's electric, so it just has the battery pack, so you don't have to worry about like a compressor and the hose and everything like that. Hey, Sammy, thanks for stopping by. Sammy says hi, Lynn. Hey, Lynn. And so where I'm putting the nails into this with my thing, and I'm going along great and building these perfectly straight, angles and everything so that no one will ever know how crooked my house is. And then all of a sudden the nail gun stops working, and I'm like, what the hell? It's making all the sounds and everything, but you can tell it's not shooting, a nail in. And so I'm like, okay, we got this. Just let it rest. It's fine. I'll go onto YouTube, YouTube basically. And I'm like, why isn't it working? And I found that this is a common problem, very common. So I went ahead and followed the the instructions that someone had very nicely made a video for on how to take the whole thing apart, drop some oil in there, lube it up and everything. So sorry, the little snippets that you can take out of my live stream that can be taken way out of context are, numerous. So I lubed it up and then put it all back together. Boom, guys, I got my tool to work again. So proud of myself. So that's one thing. Okay. If Bert had been around, do you know, like, that feeling like he's not, rushing me or anything, but he's waiting, and like when someone's waiting on you to figure something out, it's really hard to get it done. I don't know. Are you guys the same way with this? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if I was trying to do all the math and the precision and everything and take apart this tool and everything, just so the two of us can work on this project together, or if he's like, well, what can I do while you're doing that? Then I'm now having to worry about like delegating him on something and giving him clear instruction on something while I'm trying to do something else. So this is why you have to like save and have this time, to be alone in the house, like to do these kinds of things. I loved it. On top of this, Bert had bought a table saw recently. Instead of borrowing my dad's again, we could just cut things now whenever we need to. So I have used a table saw, and what I know now is I had not used a table saw safely before, and I never hurt myself or anyone else. But now I have, while I was having my breakfast, I was like, I'll just watch a safety video on table saws, just so I can make sure I'm doing it right. I was doing it very wrong. So I realized that couldn't find it's called the miter gauge, and it pushes the wood through so that it holds the wood straight, so you get a straight cut going through. And this is like a long piece kind of doing a cross cut. Okay, so if you know woodworking, you know these things I'm saying. If you don't worry about it. It's details that don't matter. But I couldn't find this miter gauge, the thing that's supposed to hold it straight. And so I'm like freaking out. I'm like, well, where is it? And I call Bert and I'm like, hey, do you remember using this? Like, I think so. I'm like, the box says it should be in there. The instruction manual says it should be in there. Okay. I cleaned the whole freaking garage, guys. I cleaned the whole garage. I reorganized the garage looking for it because that's where the table saw was. I didn't find it. I was like 2.5 hours after cleaning and reorganizing the garage. I'm like, that is 2.5 hours that I could have been spending on the living room, on the beam, on my posts. And it was a little frustrating. And like I could go to Home Depot and I could spend $50 on one of this piece that's so simple and it should be just included in my table saw. But I didn't. I talked to my dad on the phone and he said, just do it this way. This is how I've always done. I'm like, but Dad, that's not right. I'm not calling my dad like unsafe or anything, but he's old school. He's like, just get it done. Just be careful. You got this. He's like, it's got a safety guard. You're not going to cut your fingers off. Okay. So I did it. I made all the rest of my cuts, guys. Finished all my cuts. Was really proud of myself. And then I unplugged my table saw, and as I'm bent over unplugging my table saw from the extension cord, I see out of the corner of my eye what looked like underneath the piece of the miter gauge. Yep, there it is, safely stored and conveniently attached to the bottom side of the table saw, where no one would see it unless you specifically knew to look for it there. I swear I looked on the sides and all over this thing. I didn't see it until I unplugged it and was completely done with making my cuts. But now I know where it is. Okay, so that's that story. But I think the point of telling you all that is that, even when you're like driven, okay, and cleaning the garage was on my list, just so you guys know, like, okay. But once you're on a project, it's really easy to get like sidetracked onto things, and those 2.5 hours, man. So Elliot, let's just blame me not watching the new Game of Thrones on, the whole sidetrack looking for that piece in the garage and cleaning the whole garage. Yeah. Oh wow, storage. Exactly. So I did this. This project, this story kind of like lapses over mostly Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I took Friday off from work. I was so excited. It was like having a 3-day weekend all to myself. It was amazing. But of course, I had brought home table linens from work, Realized I don't have dryer sheets, so I would wash the linens and then go hang them out to dry on the line in the backyard. So I did this for about like 5 or 6 loads of linens. And I kind of felt like I was working on my day off, but at the same time, it was very rewarding because then when I carried them all in today, I did this because they were all in a very heavy sack that I carried on my back. All those linens were clean, and I'm like, I'm the hero of the office because I finished this project for everybody. And they're all going to get dirty and get covered in Bloody Mary juice when, Bloody Mary Fest happens, but that's okay. Okay, so what do you guys do when you get the chance to be alone in your place? Or are you already always alone in your place and do whatever the heck you want? Because if you do, let me just tell you something. Someday it won't be there anymore. And I'm not saying like, oh, enjoy it while you've got it type of thing. But I'm just saying like it'll change and then, I don't know, then you won't be able to do what you want to do all the time because there will always just be someone there. And it's not that you're like, can't do those things. It just feels different. The space, your freedom feels a little bit different. You coexist with someone. So I also had something on my list that I had to have a tough conversation with a friend, and I had no idea how it was going to go. And I was really nervous about when I would do it and then thinking about how I would feel afterwards. Okay, so I was trying to like plan like, okay, if it goes bad and I'm really sad afterwards, I need to make sure that I'm in I have space to, have my feelings, take care of myself, and everything. I hadn't figured out exactly. I had it in my mind, maybe I'll do it Thursday evening, whatever. Well, guys, I bumped into this friend while I was out. And I'm like, well, I guess this is a sign. And I went ahead and had that conversation with my friend. And I was so relieved that it went way better than I expected. And I felt so much better after that conversation. And I really kind of beat myself up in another way after that talk because I was convinced that my friend wouldn't take it well, that the conversation wouldn't go well. I doubted the power of our friendship. And I cried a little. Like I was like beating myself up. Like, how can you doubt that friendship, Lynn? Like that's a good friend of yours, and a good friend wouldn't just, I don't know, wouldn't just walk away just because, of a tough conversation. But the nice thing is it was done, it was off my list because it was on my to-do list. And we both, the conversation was brief enough where it was like said and it was complete. And then we both said, okay, well, let's touch base on, in a few days about it. Let's both think on it and absorb, how this went and everything. And then we got together. We went out, on Saturday night and hung out and everything. Then everything was back to normal and it wasn't weird and it wasn't anything that I was working up in my mind that it was going to be, like so worried that I was going to lose this friend over a tough conversation. So I guess it's kind of a test to friendship, but also, tough conversations need to be had. And if you spend so much time avoiding them just because you're afraid of what the outcome is going to be, that's almost worse, right? Like if I had just had that conversation a week ago, it wouldn't have been something that was on my mind, leading up to that moment until I got it done. So I don't know if that's something you guys can relate to. I'd love to hear your stories too on something like that. And we're, I don't know. People are all different. People are changing. People have different things that are feeding into, I don't know, how they're going to react to things, and I don't know if I caught her at a good time or if there had just been enough time passed, since the thing that we needed to talk about. But I don't know. Timing is something in there, and maybe a little bit of luck, and maybe also just friendship. A real good friendship will stay there if it's meant to be. And if I had that conversation and it didn't go well and she had walked away, I would have been very sad. It would have been a loss, and that's what I was worried about. And I was preparing myself, to be like, okay, I have to grieve the loss of a friendship, one that I've had for a long time. But I knew that it needed to happen. So anyway, I guess if I'm trying to make a point of my story, it's, don't be afraid to have those tough conversations when needed, so that either you can move on. You could both move on, or, you can realize it's not as big of a something that you need to worry about as you originally thought. Yeah. Okay. So you may notice too, there's a little less chatter in the comments today. Mom and Dad are going to be watching the replays, or so they say. They're helping out with babysitting, I believe, tonight. I think that's right. Yeah. And Bert's obviously on a flight. Anyway, well, I had to really think for a second there, what the heck is going on and what day is it? Okay, so I want to share, I'm going to share and show and tell something that I did right away when, after I made my list. I'm like, okay, there's a box that I've been working on for a while, and it's like my paint by number that you've seen behind me since I've had this channel. Someday, and this was on my list too, by the way. But the other thing I had on my list was actually something I brought to the White Elephant at Christmas last year. My brother got it, and I asked him, hey, are you ever going to do this? Because he was the one that won it. And it was like, put all these little pieces together. You punch them out from the wood and like put them apart. I have the box actually here. I'm going to show you. And guys, I'm all about crafts and putting things together, right? Let's see. There you go. So this is it was on like these kinds of things. My brother said, Lynn, I've got kids. I've got no time to do that. If I'm being real with you, it's never going to happen. I said, okay, Paul, give it back. Let me build it. So I built it about 3/4 of the way, and then it's been just kind of like sitting in my studio here for a while. I finally finished it. This is it in real life. Ooh, there we go. Now, this is all wood. There's no glue at all. I keep blocking my mic, which is why it seems like I'm getting quiet. I'm going to see if I can demonstrate this for you guys. So, pops up. And then when you open it, all these things, look at that. So it's got all these secret compartments in there. And it's all just wood mechanical. Anyway, I'm very proud to have finished it. Now, am I going to give it back to my brother? Do you guys think I should give it back to him? I don't know if he'll like it. I think he said not to, because I think he said it would just get destroyed by the kids or he wouldn't use it. I really want to put all my jewelry in it, really badly. Like, I want it to be my secret little box. And I kind of just like it sitting right over here. I love it. Marcus, okay. Marcus, you could have done it. Anyone could have done it. Honestly, the instructions are very, very good. The instructions are very clear. It just takes time. You could do it. And also Marcus, the reason I'm giggling is because Marcus is, he watches another YouTuber who has a channel about crafting and does a lot of paper crafts and stuff. And Marcus was a guest on her show, I don't know, like 6 months ago. I don't know. I have no concept of time on when that happened. But I was watching her show the other day, and she said, oh, Marcus is going to be on my show next week. I think it's this week, this Thursday. The days all get mixed up. Maybe it's Wednesday. And because they're in a completely different time zone. I think she's in the Philippines. I don't know where Lala is. Marcus helped me out. And Marcus is in Switzerland and stuff. So this is like, who knows what day it is when they're actually doing a live stream. Anyway, and Marcus is supposed to like craft along. Like, he's in Switzerland. She's doing the show, live wherever she is. And then, he's doing it on a live stream and for everyone. Marcus, he's like, I'm not crafty. I don't know. He's like so nervous about it. But he still gets on the screen anyway and does it. And it's just so inspiring to watch somebody do something that makes them so uncomfortable, and it's so vulnerable and relatable, and I freaking love it. So yes, Philippines is where she is. Okay, so it's very cool. That channel is I don't know, Marcus, maybe you can drop the name of the channel in there. I can't remember what she calls herself, but it's Mama Lala, Mommy Lala, I think. Yeah. Anyway, Friday morning our time. Okay, very good. So I'll try and catch it if I can. I think I caught it because I took Friday off, and so I was like, I'm going to see what my friends are doing on YouTube. Oh my gosh. And Marcus, thanks for being so active in the chat today. You're awesome. So So I love crafting. I wanted to finish that. The paint by number is next. Now that the box is done, I hope to actually pull out my paints and finish that. Because I feel very full now, like in my soul and my heart, because I used all the time that I had by myself for the past week to do all the things I wanted to do. And even though some of that included laundry and cleaning the floors and stuff, like Amy was saying, like doing the chores and stuff, it makes you feel so good when it's done. I was so happy to like go out with friends, different groups of friends, and just by myself and be a third wheel in some of the cases. And that was okay. And it felt really nice to just be able to do it on my own. And I'm not saying I'm going to leave Bert because it felt so good, but it was just nice to do these things. Okay, and that channel is called Mommy Guide Inc. If anyone wants to check it out. She does a lot of paper crafting, and it's really cool because she has multiple people on at the same time doing it. So you can get multiple, perspectives on the same project. Marcus, you need to have multiple accounts like Sammy does so that you can pretend to be all those people. It'd be really funny if I found out that you were actually Amy as well, and Amy wasn't a real person. Though I know that's not the case. I know Amy's real. I think she is. Anyways, so the crafting, that's my thing, and going out with friends, there was just a awesome use of my time, and I was so proud of myself too, because I was like, I'm getting tired, I'm gonna go home. I don't have to wait on someone else until they're ready to go home. I can go home when I'm ready. And I rode my bike everywhere too, and that's another like freedom. It's like I don't have to wait on an Uber or driving and having to worry about parking and walking and all that kind of stuff. Oh guys, it was such a good time, and I'm happy for Bert to be home. I'm gonna be leaving to go pick him up at the airport in about 45 minutes. And I get to see him again. And he gets to come home and see what I've been working on, because I didn't tell him what I was working on. Unless he's watching now, and I don't know it. I don't think he is, though. Anyway, so that's what's going on. I think, the whole topic today, make you think about it. It's like, what are the things that you would do if you had some time just to yourself? Outside of what you do now when you have 5 or 10 minutes to yourself. What are those things? Maybe it's inspiring. Maybe it's something you can try and make space for. Because I think something I might chat with Berta is like, hey, you know what? Having these days, to each do our own thing is fine. It's really hard to break out of that cycle, though. Every night, like, it's like, okay, we usually do something. We have dinner when I get home. We have kind of a routine a little bit. Dinner, go for a walk. We talk about our days. We might do a chore or something like that, work in the garden, or, the house maintenance stuff. Like, it's always something. There's always something to do. But then as soon as we get to like 8:30, 9 o'clock, it's like, okay, this is the time we start to wind down. And how do we wind down? Every single night, almost always, on the couch in front of the TV. And I'm going to sound like, I don't know. Don't be mad at me, but guys, I'm getting a little tired of TV. I am getting a little tired of TV. But it's a really hard cycle to break. Bert's always like, oh, well, we can just both, read a book in the night, or I could play video games and you can go be in your studio. But it's easier said than done. I don't know why. It's like when we're here together, I want to spend time with him. I don't know. Great question, Marcus. Did you eat regularly while alone? So, I did pretty good. When I'm alone and I eat, I like to go through the freezer and the fridge too, and the pantry, and find things that we haven't used, ingredients that we haven't used that have been there for a while. Because again, you get into the routine of what are, the favorite 10 meals that we make and everything. And there's some ingredients that I like that Bert doesn't. So part of my goal alone was to go through those ingredients so that we just get them out of there. Like, I had 2 open bags of pot stickers in the freezer. We never have them together. I don't know why. I think we used to, but I made pot stickers 2 of the days. So now we don't have those in the freezer anymore, taking up space. And it felt so good to declutter, but also eat. But even better is that my garden, I've never had better pepper plants than the ones that I have this year. And I am so in love with them and so proud of them. They're so healthy and so tall, and there's so many peppers growing on them. And my hot pepper plant is, oh my, I swear there's 100 peppers growing on it right now. The hot pepper plant. Hot pepper plant. And I am the green pepper plants. I know if I leave them on there, I think they're going to turn orange or red, or yellow, one of the other colors. Anyway, I pulled them off. I pulled one or two off. No, I took one off, and I had one in the fridge already. I had 4 total. Guys, I'm trying to remember what I made. I had one big one, pulled one off, and had already pulled one off of the thing. So I was working with 3. Cut the big one in half. I made stuffed peppers with rice and sausage. And the sausage, I didn't just, whatever. I browned it first. I put extra time into it. I went out to the garden and I pulled fresh basil out. And I pulled some cherry tomatoes and I chopped those up. And I put those in. And it just made it more than just the rice and sausage that we're used to. It was stuffed peppers with all these fresh ingredients from my garden. And I put it in the oven, and I put some cheese on that melted on top, and it was so good. And the cool thing is because I made 4 servings, I then was able to eat that as leftovers for lunch and dinner, which afforded me more time to do my project. So, high five, Lynn. So yes, that was one of the other things I did. Thank you for asking, Marcus. Amy said, I cleaned my baggie and foil drawer, and it only took 5 minutes. Why didn't I do it sooner? There you go. That's the other thing. It's like, I was talking to a friend, he's like, if I only had, time to do this, I would do this little project. And I'm like, that project would only take you an hour to do tops. You know that, right? Do you have the parts? Yeah, I got the parts. Yeah, just do it, right? Like, what's it going to do? It seems like it's such a big project in our head, and then we go to do it, and it's like, oh, that was easy. I love that. Oh, you want to see the wooden blocks? Oh, what, do you want it here all the time? Do you just want me to be like holding it all the time, Marcus? I'll just hold it here all the time. Marcus, you're funny today. I don't know. But yes, there it is. And I'm closer to my mic now, so I'm clearer. I do have kale that came up in my garden this year. Now, if you guys don't know this about me, I do not like kale. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I hate kale. It's gross. I don't like the texture. And don't tell me to make kale chips or, oh, you need to make it softer or whatever. No. Get out of here. I don't like kale. Okay, but we have kale that came up in our garden randomly this year. Bert's so excited because he loves kale. I think that's what he would eat if I was out of town. Marcus, like, good, hold it there. I'm not going to hold it there, Marcus. You're crazy today. Yes, the house did smell amazing, Amy. It was like such a rewarding dish because you not only get to taste it, but the house smelled like, fresh veggies being cooked. It was so great. I loved it. Oh my God. Oh, and hi, Kristen. So great to see you. I'm right there with you. Crafting is definitely my thing. Yeah, the other thing I had on my list was to keep making jewelry. I like making jewelry, and then I have so much of it, and I keep like putting it into like little boxes and bags and stuff, and then I forget that I have it, and then rediscover it. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that I made those. But I like giving them as gifts too. And I've recently started thinking, I've got a lot of old jewelry that's still in good shape that is still cool looking, but I'm done wearing it. And I was like, I wonder if I could just, I'll just put on a new little card and maybe I can have like a Lynn's vintage, jewelry, like little shop. I've thought about that too. And I can sell originals and vintage pieces. Vintage meaning, things I bought like 5 years ago. Marcus is unleashed. Oh my God, Marcus, you're cracking me up. Oh my God. But yes. So guys, thanks for sharing, today and thinking about this with me. Like, the things that we do when our partners are, or our family is away, or whoever it is that, is usually in our space, and how things change, or when you have a week off of work, or I don't know, you have some sort of unexpected, time that you didn't have, it's fun to think about like, oh, what's the first thing I would do? Why don't I do it now? Why don't I make time for it now? I will say one more thing, which is that I thought I would try to make more time for yoga, right? We signed up for this yoga subscription or membership, a 1 month membership, to test it out. Me and Bert did it. Bert was really excited about it. We went 2 days in a row. Bert even did some of the ones on Zoom, and then I never went back. And I thought for sure during my week off, that's definitely something I was going to do, is go to yoga on my own and just really enjoy that. I didn't make time for it. And I think what that told me was that I'm not going to continue that membership, because if I can't even do it when I'm alone, I know I'm not going to make time for it when I've got Bert around. Maybe I would. Maybe he'll want to keep doing it. I don't think he will. I also joined the new soccer team because I'm worried that my fall honey badger team that plays on Sundays, it's not looking so good for this fall. I don't know if it's me or if it's just bad timing with the team. I'm a little self-conscious about it right now, thinking I did something that made the team not want to play together anymore. I don't think I did. I think it's all in my head. I don't know. But I want to ask a few people and just be like, hi, like, what's actually going on? But a lot of people aren't playing this fall, and it made me kind of sad. But I love soccer, and I thought, I also thought that hard conversation I was talking about before, if that went bad, I'm going to need to find other people to play soccer with. And I'm glad it went well, because I was worried. I'm like, because it's someone I play soccer with, and if it went bad, I'm like, what's going to happen at soccer? Is it going to be awkward? Am I going to have to quit the team? Is she going to quit the team? What's going to happen? But none of that happened, luckily. We're still going to be teammates forever. But I was worried that would happen, and I would have to find new people to play with. So I actually joined another soccer team on Thursday last week, and it was kind of last minute. This woman called, and she's like, I have to switch nights. And I'm like, we can't switch your registration. You're locked into this league. You're already on the schedule. I'm sorry, because this is what I do at my full-time job. I help run adult recreational sports. Anyway, she's like, well, I need more players then. And I'm like, well, would you take me? And she said yes. And funny is, she used to play in my leagues when I was working for the company prior to what I work for now. And she remembered me. And I'm like, well, this is exciting. I remember you too and everything. So I show up, and, we both, age, because I haven't seen her probably in, 7 years or so. And we're the same age, which is awesome. I'm like, oh, good. This is a good start. She can be my new friend. And turns out she Facebook stalked me, which is totally cool. And she's like, you're friends with one of my good friends. And I'm like, no way. So we already had this connection going and everything. So I'm very excited that I joined this team, but they're not as good as my current team. And I'm sure that's because there's a whole bunch of new people playing together, because she took me and 3 other new people onto the team. So it takes time for teams to gel and get to know each other's playing styles and stuff. But anyway, I am very excited that I've broken out of my normal kind of like little group, and I'm expanding. As an adult, it's hard to make new friends, right? I don't know if it is for me. I always want to go up to people and be like, want to be my friend? But making quality friends isn't easy. So I'm proud of myself for doing this, and so far it's going well. All right, Kim is watching, and she's on my honey badger team, and she's commenting, that's in your head. I'm just busy and trying to figure out the new school and job. Okay, Kim, well, thank you for clarifying. I appreciate it. I think everyone's just busy, and it's a last minute season, and we also don't know what the competition's going to be. To be honest, I was like ready to take the fall off anyway, so kind of. I do just love seeing my honey badgers on Sundays so much. Okay, wow. I've been yammering for 45 minutes, and, I think it's time to wrap this up. Thanks, you guys. And Paul comes in right at the tail end. You lived alone for a week? I'll watch the replay. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, and also, I don't know if this is cool or not, but Bert was just in Tahoe for a week for a bachelor party, and he flew home this afternoon from Sacramento. And I thought of you because I think you're from that part of the country. And I'm like, Bert, you should stop by and see Paul Burke. I never said that to him, but it would be funny if that happened. So anyway, I had a great time hanging out with you guys today. I will be back next Monday. I broke my promise to you. I said I would, on my to-do list, have time to rebrand my channel. It didn't happen. Now, if I never said anything, you might not have even noticed, but I don't know. Yes. So to be fair, to explain where Bert was for the past week, he was at, he flew out a few days before the bachelor party because his company has a site in that area. So he went, kind of for work, thinking that work might pay for part of the flight or the trip or a stay or car or something. They paid for nothing. I'm like, dang it, Bert, you went on this trip and you paid out of pocket to do stuff for work. Damn it. But he was very happy that he went early anyway, and he had time to go on hikes by himself. And he enjoyed hanging out with his friends. The things that they did looked awesome, and I'm sure he might be hungover when I pick him up, but I'm okay with that, We'll sit on the couch and watch TV. We'll watch the Game of Thrones show. Yeah. Okay, good to know. You live in Sac. Well, all right. I'm going to, for real, wrap it up. Thank you guys. Find some time to do what you want to do. Make some space in the next week, and maybe we'll circle back and share next Monday what you did. I'll try and do something too. Something, break out of my routine with Bert and try and make some space for myself, even though he's home. All right. We'll talk later. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye. Oh boy, this music? I don't know. New playlist. Let's see what else. There we go. That was not so bad. Sorry, Paul. That's just how the universe is making it be. I'm glad you had fun, Marcus. Thanks for being so chatty in the comments. Oh, Paul. I don't want to ever hurt your dreams. It was unintended, but I believe you'll be okay. Bye!